What up, y'all? This is your boy Cherry Speaks, man. Right on, before I get anything started, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And also feel free to subscribe to my boys, Millaboy Gaming and Heemz Gaming for more gaming and live streaming. They do some pretty dope stuff. Now, in tonight's episode of The Flash, Season 5, Episode 17, Time Bomb, we got just that. We got a huge ticking time bomb that exploded, and we learned a lot of shit that we didn't know previously. Well, we learned something that was previously speculated, but now it turns out that it was actually true for those that haven't been keeping up with The Flash this season. Nora West Allen, the daughter of both Iris and Barry Allen, who came from the future, has been in cahoots with Eobard Thawne this whole time. In fact, that was her mentor, who we're going to find out what really happened next week or whenever the next episode comes on. So, and this is a big thing for me because when things like this happen, you really want to know like why, and that's the biggest thing whenever it comes to something like this. But for this episode, man, we see the fact we get Grace's agenda as to why she's doing what she's doing. She wants to hunt down the meta that she deems allegedly responsible for the deaths of her parents when she was just a 10-year-old girl. You know, at ATM Central City 2 years ago, 2017, ATM exploded. A woman by the name of Vickie, I think her name was Rollins, I think her last name was. She tested her ATM machine, I guess not knowing she had powers at the time, being a metahuman. She zapped the ATM and it exploded a little bit. She ran away, right? And all of a sudden, her parents go up to the ATM to withdraw some money. All of a sudden, they go and stick the card in, and it explodes and kills her parents instantly, leaving Grace just to watch and see her parents perish before her. Something very traumatic for any child of that age or any person for that matter. So, throughout the episode, we see her just very much taking care of Orlin, Dwyer, her uncle, who was the original cicada, OG cicada, as I deemed him many times in my other videos. She nurses him back to health. He obviously is more compassionate and more reasonable than she is. She's driven by the same hate and anger that he was. And he realizes that, look, he was telling Grace, like, listen, you don't have to do this. She's innocent. Like, this is nothing but a mere accident. You know, but Grace doesn't see it that way. She just sees it simply as, okay, this bitch killed my damn parents. She definitely has to get dealt with. So that's just her whole mentality in the entire episode. We see her come for Vickie many times, in particular when Vickie's out with her kids and her family. She tries to show up. She tries to pull up there. Uh, Flash and Excess ain't having it. They get her out of there safely. Vickie, of course, has some resentment towards the Barry, telling her, "Listen, we're gonna take you into the federal custody so then that way you can be safe." Being the fact that Vickie's family doesn't know that she's a metahuman until, unfortunately, her daughter Alexis gets injured while Vickie tries to defend herself and protect her family. When Cicada Grace pulls up and knocks to the damn ground with one of her energy balls, which actually results in breaking Alexis's arm. And while she's in the hospital, immediately her husband is furious because one, he didn't know that his wife was a metahuman, and two, also because Alexis doesn't know that her mother's a metahuman, so they completely detest her. And the big lesson in there is never to keep secrets, even as Barry mentioned. Secrets are like a huge wall, and eventually when the wall crumbles, something of this variation, ends up hurting you more or less in the hindsight. Barry obviously knows that, just from his experiences doing time travel and keeping secrets. It was always a big theme for Team Flash until Barry wised up and matured. And so I think that really led to Nora being really guilty too, because seeing Vickie's family torn apart like that really made her tear up because that made her feel guilty. She had a guilty conscience, you know, whether or not she should unveil her big secret to the Team Flash and whatnot. Speaking of which, we learn how Cicada Grace actually gets to the malleable timeline of we see present day Team Flash in. She uses Thawne's, or I guess you could say Nora was utilizing it. They were using Thawne's time spear. As we saw, two copies, one in present day and one during the Star archives, where they store like old memorabilia of Star Lives over the years. They did a little bit of a test. They scratched the time spear that they saw recently in the wooded area. A scratch showed up in present day. So that's how they know that, okay, oh shit, someone is pretty much copied Thawne's time spear diagram. Turns out to be Nora. And we see my boy Sherlock actually go dive deep into it. He even finds a flash drive, futuristic flash drive, in Thawne's old chair. He said, look, if I want to be Eobard Thawne, scientific, you know, genius, what would I do? What would I hide some information? Wow, he finds it up in his old chair. So plugs it in, and he sees a video, archived video of your Barthon talking to Gideon, talking about, I found a malleable timeline, Gideon, or something of this variation, where he says, I found a malleable timeline, and I finally cracked the code to the Speed Force, or time travel, if you will, because just like our DNA, our human body's DNA has a source code that has to follow, and Eobard believed that he found and cracked the source code of time travel. And so with that being said, Local matched up the notes that he saw in Nora's journal in terms of find out it's actually Eobard's handwriting. So when he finds this out, he has to tell the team about it. Nora shamelessly confesses to it, and even Barry was like, she can't even lie about it, because Iris said, Nora, please tell me this isn't true, and Barry goes, she can't because she knows it's true. So he puts his own daughter in the pipeline, obviously being ashamed of what she had done. She says, Dad, I'm sorry, like, please, like, and he says, I'm sorry too. She's like, I'm sorry I lied. And he says, I'm sorry I lied too. Get a preview for next week's episode or whatever the next episode comes on. And he's like, look, like, she lied to us from day one. I mean, and they start digging into, the journal and so on. We even get flashbacks of when Thawne was becoming her mentor, and we hear Nora on the ground saying, oh, yelling no. So so possibly someone in her family must have been gotten killed, for her to go back in timeline to even pretty much be Eobard Thawne's lapdog. Either he did something for her to go back in time for her to do this for him, or maybe she just couldn't save someone that she really cared about in order for her to do this. You know what I mean? Another thing is we see Ralph pretty much dabble in Cisco's relationship with Camila. Everything is going really smooth. Cisco's afraid that if he lets Camila in to his other life, which is being a tech expert for Star Labs and being a superhero, aka Vibe, that things will only be, really go bad, because he's, for the first time, as Cisco said, he feels normal. He doesn't feel, chained down to that superhero life where he doesn't really make things bad. He feels like a normal dude for once. Ralph apologized and said, look, man, after reiterating a story that he learned from, his mother's boyfriend, he said, look, man, if you don't tell her, you're pretty much shutting her off from the other, turning off another side of you that she doesn't know about. It's better to let her know and let her in and let her know about what you do and who you really are. And I'm pretty sure, in coming episodes, I'm pretty sure he'll let her know, and we'll see how she reacts to it. Maybe she already knows, because Cisco's under the impression that she shyly and bashfully and blissfully doesn't know that he's a metahuman and so on. But we'll see how that goes. But this has been your boy Share Speaks. Let me know what you guys think about tonight's episode. What did you guys think? Do you think Nora could redeem herself for doing what she did? What do you guys think Nora did to actually even be under Eobard Thawne's to be Eobard Thawne's lapdog for this operation of his? Or do you, in the trailer for next week's episode or so on, do you think who died at Nora's hand or possibly at Eobard's hand? And who do you think that is? Do you think it's Iris? Do you think it's Joe? Who do you think that is? Whose death do you think she witnessed? Let me know in the comment section below. As well, what do you guys think about this video? Let me know in the comment section below, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for more content. This has been your boy Share Speaks. You're always welcome. You always will be. Peace and love.